to our top story now. Peter Dutton, he stepped things up a few notches here on First Edition yesterday by calling for a blanket ban on Gazans coming to Australia for now. Joining us live out of Canberra, the Shadow Home Affairs Minister, James Paterson. James, good to see you. Thanks for your time as always. So let's start off with that claim. Do you support Peter Dutton's ban on Gazans for now?
Well, all the big news breaks on First Edition, Pete, and I strongly support what Peter Dutton has called for, because frankly, when I started raising questions about this earlier in the week, I expected the government would quickly come out, reassure Australians and say, of course we're not going to bring any Hamas supporters in our country. But when they were unable to give us that assurance, when they were unable to provide evidence that they are doing sufficient security and identity checks, well then the only option that remains is to pause all applications from Gaza for now until those checks can be put in place. And so Peter's absolutely right to call for this.
So how long's for now?
Well, as long as it takes for the Albanese government to put in place adequate security checks to make sure that there is no risk posed to our community. We need to make sure that every case is referred to ASIO for its assessment, not just some. We need to make sure that face-to-face interviews are taking place, and we need to make sure that biometric testing is taking place. Because while there are undoubtedly many innocent, genuine migrants coming from Gaza, there are also undoubtedly people who could pose a risk to our community, and we have to weed out those people that pose that risk. That's why we do security vetting, but it doesn't work if it's not robust.
So when I spoke to the Prime Minister yesterday, I raised that point. I say, why not refer it all to ASIO? And he says it already is. So that's not true?
He misled you and he misled your viewers, because that is not true. Mike Burgess said on Sunday that only some of them are being referred to ASIO. And so the Prime Minister should clarify today, because he repeated those claims, and the Immigration Minister repeated those claims in the Parliament and have arguably misled the Parliament. They need to be upfront today and say, of the 10,000 visa applications considered by the government for Palestinian document holders since the 7th of October, how many of them actually went to ASIO for their assessment on security risk?
Yeah. Now, we spoke on Monday about this after Mike Burgess spoke on Sunday about asking politicians, media as well, to tone down the rhetoric. Was it the right thing to do to up it up now, just 3 days after that call from Burgess?
Well, Peter Dutton and the Coalition have been very measured all the way through about this, because we understand that our national security is the most important duty of any federal government. No, I don't think that anything's changed. National security is our first and most important duty of the government. The Albanese government might have lost sight of that, but we haven't. And all we're asking for is a temporary pause. I point out, by the way, that right now no one from Gaza can come to Australia because the Rafah border is closed. So the government actually has the time to get this right, to put in place a robust system that can assure the Australian people that there is no risk to national security.